Chef's
go.
Kiss. Oh,
Thank you. Worked hard on that one. I didn't like some of the graphics first time around. I had to make some adjustments on that one, but I like that. I like that. So, all right, folks, welcome. This is Codex Station's Comic Character of the Week, where we take one character, give you the deep dive on that character, the must-read stories, the badass moments, the top covers, and, of course, Uncle Gary showing off the actual character right there. Plus, so much more. Dan, you've got the info on this guy. Why don't you go ahead and give us everything you got?
All right, so this Ghost Rider is the second Ghost Rider that is the Spirit of Vengeance, but the third character to carry the name Ghost Rider, since it was the Old West character that then became Phantom Rider. So his first appearance was in Ghost Rider #1 in May 1990, created by writer Howard Mackey and artist, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, Javier Saltares.
I think that's right.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's good enough for Punk. So this Ghost Rider is Danny Ketch, and his origin is that he had taken his sister on a trip to the graveyard on Halloween so that she could get a picture of Houdini's grave. They stumbled on some criminals doing some criminal stuff there. Someone gets murdered. Sister jumps up and screams. They sure do through the torso with an arrow.
Oh God!
Gonna leave a mark. So Danny grabs her and they go running. They hide in a junkyard that's nearby, and there's a old motorcycle that's near them, and he's freaking out. And there's this motorcycle. The gas cap is glowing on it, and it just kind of calls to him. And he touches the gas cap, and that's when he becomes Ghost Rider, the Spirit of Vengeance. As for the powers he had, and there's more that was revealed later on, which I'm sure we will get to later on in the episode in likes and dislikes. So we'll just leave his origin at that. You can read his origin. It all takes place in the first issue. It's called Lifeblood. It's really good. As for his powers, he's got super strength. He's got heightened reflexes. He's got a head that's a flaming skull. He's resistant to most injuries. He has the penance stare where he stares, into the eyes of, whoever villain or whoever he's aiming it towards, and makes them pretty much relive all the pain that they have caused to anyone else. He's chain that he wears around his chest. He can use it as a weapon. It can extend. He can throw it where it can break off into shards, almost like shrunken, but then they will all come back and reform. He's got his motorcycle that when he becomes Ghost Rider, his motorcycle transforms. It can travel super fast. It can travel over any surface and is highly, highly maneuverable.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. So that's
Danny
a great
Phantom.
intro. Danny Phantom. What's up, Lettuce? Welcome to the show. So this leads us into our segment of what works best for this character. And Tim, I'll let you go first on this one. What works best for you?
So I think what works best for Danny Ketch Ghost Rider is when he is the mysterious Spirit of Vengeance. So the beginnings of the series, like the series that he debuted in, when we didn't know next to nothing about him, like was he the successor to the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider and all of that stuff? I loved that mystery about him, but what I really enjoyed was that he had this unrelenting passion for the protection of the innocent, and he was incredibly violent in that passion, and I really enjoyed that. Like even though he could beat him up and he could toss him around and stuff, the thing that worked best was when he just got a hold of him and he's like, I'm going to show you all the pain that you caused everybody else up to this point, and you are going to relive it through this penance stare. That was just so menacing to me. The artwork that Texera and Javier did was perfect for the series. Howard Mackey's writing was amazing, and he made that character at a time when edgy characters were really popular. This Ghost Rider a major standout and an incredibly popular character. Yeah, just his aggression toward the defiling of innocence, like in Hearts of Darkness, which I know we'll get into. That whole story is about him just going to beat the snot out of Blackheart because he threatened innocence. Danny Bonnet.
Right.
But yeah, it's just I always loved that about this character, like the mystery, just the unbridled passion for protection of innocence, the penance stare, just how aggressive he was in that, and like nothing could budge him from that particular mission, and I really enjoyed that.
All right, very cool. I will go next on this one because Tim, you said my point to the T. When he was first released, it was very mysterious. It was edgy, and it just captivated you from page one. So you said everything I was going to say. What I like best about him, and I agree with you on Howard Mackey's writing.
If he could write Ghost Rider for the rest of his career, I'd be happy.
Absolutely, and of course the penance stare. That's just awesome. I actually. That kind of freaked me out as a young kid when I read about that too. So it was kind of wicked when I first read that. So yeah, Tim, you said it exactly. I can't add anything to that point. That's what I like best about it. So Dan, how about you? What you got?
Yeah, I like that they created him as the new '90s version of Ghost Rider, but other than the basic premise, the flaming skull, the bike with the flaming wheels, like is very different than Johnny Blaze, both as Danny Ketch and as Ghost Rider. Because where Johnny Blaze got his powers, by making this deal with the devil, so he, was not exactly an innocent and everything. Danny wasn't innocent. He was, trying to protect his sister. He just touched this motorcycle. It turned him into Ghost Rider. They added stuff to that later, but I like it how it originally was, where he was just an innocent guy, almost like a wrong place, wrong time. And then that happened, and he was kind of stuck with it. And then the Ghost Rider, when he turned into the Ghost Rider, was much different than the one that Johnny Blaze was, because the one that Johnny Blaze turned into was almost villain-like at times, and was much more sadistic. And where the '90s Ghost Rider was definitely violent, even from his first appearance, it was very much protect the innocent. I'm here to save this. Like, I'm not doing anything to hurt them. He didn't seem to take any glee in some of the stuff that he did, the way the Johnny Blaze.
It was almost like a burden for him to do it.
Yeah. Like he's there. He's like, I have to do this to protect the innocent. Whereas the Johnny Blaze one, you would see him like, oh yeah, I'll drive through a cop car and, through them, get out of my way. So it was very different, aspect of it. And then, they introduced the stuff later on with the, with the Noble Kale character that, that was, supposed to be that version of Ghost Rider and all that. But I like that when they created it, it's very much like, all right, we're going to make this. We're not just going to like give it a different name and go like, we're going to make this a completely different thing.
That's cool. That's cool. All right, Gary, how about you?
What I like best about this character is when he's meting out retribution to those evildoers, and in that way, in a lot of ways, I believe he is, he's akin to the Spectre. So
good analogy.
The way the Spectre would mete out justice, and like y'all said, the Spectre never got. Y'all said that was it Dan said, he never got any pleasure out of doing it. It was just his duty, kind of like the way it is with the Spectre. The Spectre doesn't do it for kicks. He's doing it because he is the agent of God's wrath. And so the Spectre, Danny Ketch's Ghost Rider was kind of like that. He had a divine mission where he was going to punish these evildoers, and he was going to show them. I love the penance stare where he's just going to show them what they have wrought by making them experience the pain and the suffering of their victims. I think that is very Spectre-esque. So I think when they created this character, that yes, it owes a lot to the original Ghost Rider, but I believe it owes a lot to the Fire and Brimstone Spectre.
Yeah,
that's what I really believe. So I dig that aspect of the character.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's like those scenes in the early issues where like he's beating up these thugs or whatever, and he gets a hold of one and he just got him like this, and you see that side panel, and he's just running through his monologue of you're gonna witness all of this, you're gonna feel all this pain, and then the dude drops and he just turns and looks to the next guy, and the dude's pissing himself, and you're like, oh, here we go.
Yes.
It's coming down, baby. It's coming. It's all
I love that about the series. It was so amazing.
That's awesome. That is awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and go into our badass moments. And Dan, you can actually kick us off with badass.
Chris, oh my God.
Here's a funny little side story that's nothing to do with this. The first time I heard that phrase, showing my ass, I was working as a dispatcher for this company, Corey Home Delivery, and we were working for Room Store. And one of the people that worked for Room Store on the, one of their phone people came over and said, "Oh, this driver's at a customer's house. He's showing his ass." I'd never heard this phrase before. And I was like, what? So I had to go to someone else at Corey. I was, one of my bosses. I'm like, so this is what's happening at the house. And, I was like, apparently he's showing his ass to the customer. What? And I told them, like, oh, and they told me what it meant. I'm like, okay, because I envisioned the driver out front mooning the customer, which was something that was very much in the realm of possibility for something some of these drivers would do.
Yep.
So that's just a funny story about how I learned the origin of, or what that phrase actually meant.
It could have been it could have been he was having a plumber moment.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Bougie.
Bougie, yep. See, I agree.
Yep.
We're on the same wavelength, my friend. Yep.
Ooh, a Crow and Ghost Rider crossover.
Well, I know that they did the amalgam for Flash and Ghost Rider, which was Speed Demon, which was a cool look and a cool title. Made absolutely no sense for an amalgam. But they could have done a Ghost Rider Spectre one. It could have been Ghost Spectre or Spectre Rider or something.
Spectral Rider.
Yes, Chris, I actually thought in the context and knowing who the driver was, and that seemed like something in the realm of possibility that I thought that he got into an argument with the customer and just mooned them.
And you were thinking, well, at least he didn't show his dick.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh God.
Gosh. Come on, let's get on with badass moment, shall we?
There we go. No, not Zeb Wells, Bougie.
Are we showing our badass moments?
Yeah, we're gonna show our badass moments.
All right, so I got the requisite 3. So the first one I'll say is from Ghost Rider. It's a somewhat more recent one, the past few years. It's Ghost Rider Volume 9, Issue 1. There's this gigantic building-sized demon from hell that shows up in the city and is attacking it. And Danny, as Ghost Rider, drives his motorcycle into the creature, like into the demon, and like latches his chain onto it when he goes in, and then drives out the other side and pulls the demon inside out by latching his chain in there. And it is just as grotesque as you think and awesome as you think that it would be.
That's great.
Nice.
This one-eyed snake has a penance stare. My God.
Wow.
The next one I have is from the first Danny Ketch series, the Ghost Rider Volume 3. It's from Annual Number 2, which was a really good story, and it focuses on the Scarecrow. Who, yes, there is a Scarecrow in the Marvel universe, just like there is in DC, but the one in damn
Taco Bell does that.
Taco Bell, wow.
Taco Bell does it to everybody.
The one in the Marvel universe gets his power from fear. So the more people around him were afraid, the stronger he would get. So the story has him going out and kidnapping a bunch of people and basically like murdering some but not the others to keep them afraid so that he'll get strong. And also he says he can't die when he's, that strong. So what Ghost Rider does is, knowing that he can't die, is when he's fighting him and he beats him, he breaks every bone in his body, but then he stays with him. So as his body starts healing, he holds the bones in a way that they'll heal, that they won't heal right, and leaves him this grotesque, deformed thing where he's like, yeah, I'm still alive because I couldn't die, but he made sure that my bones didn't heal in a way that would work. So he's like completely paralyzed in every way.
Wow.
And that's pretty badass. It's like, oh, you can't die? Okay, but you're gonna want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
the Brown Lantern.
Yep, the Brown Lantern.
That's his home base.
Yep.
He made a run
next
for the
one.
border. He made a run for the border plan.
Yeah. My last moment actually isn't from a comic, it's from a cartoon. It's from the 1993 Fantastic Four cartoon. I don't know if it was the first or second season, but the episode is called When Galactus Calls, and it's Galactus down on the Earth, and he's getting ready to do Galactus stuff, and out of nowhere Ghost Rider appears and gives this little speech. The whole scene's about a minute and a half long, but he shows up, gives this little speech about, you've inflicted all this pain on trillions of souls, feel it back. And he gives Galactus the penance stare and makes Galactus feel everything that he's done to all these countless amount of people on all these countless worlds everywhere, and Galactus just overwhelmed and just collapses, and that's that. And then Ghost Rider is like, my work here is done, and he just and the Thing and
it's Miller time.
Yeah, and the Thing and Human Torch and them are just like, who is this guy? Where did this guy because he showed up and he said, like, the suffering of innocence called me, and they're like, I thought he was just a myth. Gives a penance stare to Galactus, and he's like, all right, did what I need to do, and just leaves. And it's like, okay, so you just in a couple seconds toppled one of the most powerful beings in the universe, and then you're just gone.
That's awesome.
So he turned Galactus into collapses.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pink slime.
Yep. Okay, Gary,
yeah,
how about
and you can watch. I was gonna say, and real quick, you could watch the clip of it on YouTube. It's a pretty cool clip, and
I'm gonna have to do that.
Maybe there'll be a little trivia.
Wow.
In the episode about that as well.
Nice.
There we go.
All right, Gary, go ahead.
All right, so the three moments I'm going to give are all from the Archduke Kevy, because this is his favorite Marvel character. I wanted to let him have a say in this episode. So these are his three moments that he gave me. First, he just wanted to reference, what he thinks is pretty badass is just the penance stare. The fact that is just such a badass power that he has. And, he notes that it didn't debut until the second issue of Danny Ketch's run, of Ghost Rider, but that it was such a badass addition, to the powers of the Ghost Rider character. So that's one of his badass moments. He also has Danny is manipulated by the angel Zadkiel.
Zadkiel, I think.
Zadkiel, to hunt down and absorb the powers of to hunt down and absorb the other powers of the spirits of vengeance, in effect adding all of their powers and ability to his own. And that's from the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider Danny Ketch miniseries. So the fact that he's hunting down these other spirits of vengeance, and when he gets them, he's adding their powers to his power set. So that's badass. And then the last one he has is after he had his own spirit of vengeance removed from him, Danny accepts a corrected spirit into himself to replace it. He then becomes the Death Rider, the spirit of corruption, and utilized the bright blade and those stabbed with it are consumed from the inside out by every corrupt thing they've done in their entire life. And that's Ghost Rider Volume 9, Number 3 from 2019. So
Wow.
that is pretty
Nice.
badass. So, and he
So
sent a
now I
picture
know
of
why.
the death.
Now I know why he ignored me when I reached out to him twice to ask him, like, "Hey, are there any badass moments you want me to mention?" I reached out through Facebook and I texted him and got nothing back. So now I know why. He's like, "No, I'm going to Gary."
Yeah.
Well,
I actually had two
I
of
saw
those,
when
but-
you had done that. I'd already reached out to him, so I wanted him to have a say in this character because I knew this character meant a lot to him. So
Yep.
I think it was just the case that I had asked him first.
All right.
So.
All right, Tim, you're up. Let's have it.
We'd have missed out on the ones you had. The Galactus thing was epic.
Yeah, that
It's
was
really cool. I highly recommend going on YouTube and watching. Like I said, the whole clip is like a minute long, but it's pretty awesome. And you think too, like in the early '90s for a Fantastic Four cartoon, like to have Ghost Rider show up like that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Kevin, with your putting the penance stare on as a badass moment, I agree with that 1,000,000%. I think that is an incredibly unique power that was utilized perfectly during that '90s run. But my favorite moment for Ghost Rider is in Hearts of Darkness, and it's in this part. And we'll go into what the story's about and all that stuff. But basically, to break it down, Blackheart has taken over this whole town. He has mind controlled everybody in the town except for this little girl named Lucy. And he's Punisher, Wolverine, and Ghost Rider to the town to give them their heart's desire, right? Well, Blackheart has stolen Ghost Rider's bike. Danny Ketch can't change into Ghost Rider at this time without touching the bike. And Punisher and Wolverine are working their way through these brambles, talking about, how they don't cross the line, that this gray area that Blackheart wants them to cross. And they're just kind of wondering how they're going to get through these brambles. And Danny Ketch finds this motorcycle, figures out that, and this is a pivotal moment for him, figures out that the change comes within him, not necessarily touching that bike. And he gets on this old motorcycle. And as Punisher and Wolverine are fighting through these brambles, Ghost Rider just tears ass through, screaming Blackheart's name, and cuts this path for them to get to where they need to go. That every time I read that panel, and I read it again today, it gives me chills. I love it. Like the anger and the hatred that Ghost Rider had for Blackheart at that moment in time. You could see that in the letters, and it was just so amazing to read. That's all I got. I just wanted to
That's
cover
pretty
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. So you guys really covered mine. I had the Scarecrow's body being deformed by Ghost Rider. Dan, that was awesome.
Yep.
One of Archduke's was the one I took where he starts incorporating all the spirits of vengeance into him, upgrading his power set. And of course, I like the penance there. That's a no-brainer right there. That's a badass moment.
Yep.
It is. And of course, Tim, you took also with mine with Hearts of Darkness, cutting a path for Wolverine and Punisher. And you were exactly right with the anger and hatred as he's yelling for Blackheart.
When I read that as a kid, as a teenager, I think my exact words were "Holy shit!"
Yep.
And it was just
Yes, it was
one of the coolest panels I had ever read at that time.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. That was,
Dude,
that was
Chris,
amazing.
if you haven't read Hearts of Darkness, we're going to talk a lot about it today. You need to read it.
Yep. All right. So for our next statement is critiques and criticisms for this character and why we don't like them. And I'll go first on this one. So, because you guys take my stuff all the time. Yeah. No, but I really, there's not much that I don't like about him. I think Dan kind of hit a point on it, and I'm going to mention this. A lot of his stuff seems really similar to Johnny Blaze, and it gets to a point where they seem almost one and the same type of character. And I like him being different, being separate. other than Johnny Blaze himself. So if they can keep that separate, and I liked it more when he was more mysterious and they didn't flesh out his background so much or his his history so much. The keeping the mystery in it, I think, helps the attraction to the character. So they should have kept that more or lasted that longer than what it did, I guess. But that's really all I didn't like about it. So, Dan, why don't you go ahead next on that one? Go around.
Yeah, kind of the same thing is that after he was so popular in the 90s, and then later on when they decided to bring Johnny Blaze back, all right, that's cool. Johnny Blaze was the first Ghost Rider, not including the Western guy who really had nothing to do with these guys. But they're like, oh well, the 90s Ghost Rider had a cool look. Let's just make Blaze look like that. Yeah. So they just literally gave the same pants and the leather jacket and the spikes, like all that to Johnny Blaze. And oh yeah, that pennant stare, that was pretty cool. That's Johnny Blaze too. Like, okay, well, oh, welcome.
There is
Evan. Good to see you.
There's the Archduke himself.
Well, they're just taking all the cool stuff from this one and giving it to Johnny Blaze, and then when they eventually bring Danny back, then it's you look at the covers on some of them, you're like, you can't even. I'm sure you guys ran into it when it's trying to pick covers for this episode. It's like, oh, that's a cool one. Like, oh wait, no, that's Johnny Blaze. Looks like Danny Ketch, but that's a Johnny Blaze book. Yeah. So I didn't like that they just kind of took all the cool stuff from him and gave it to Blaze. Blaze is a cool enough character on his own. We did a whole episode of that you can check out. And then the other thing is, I didn't like how they made him and Johnny brothers. Half brothers, and we got to expand the mythos, and we have to they're half brothers, and then there's this family curse that that's all this, and when it got convoluted with all of this stuff, like the thing that made it cool for me was it was almost like a wrong place, wrong time, or right place, right time, depending on how you look at it, situation that he just happened to be the one there to find this bike. It could have been someone else, but it was him. And, he was, and then he was kind of cursed with it through no fault of his own. That made it more interesting than, oh, it's this family curse. Like, I didn't really necessarily hate the Noble Kale stuff. Like when you want to say that's who the spirit is that takes over when he becomes Ghost Rider. I know a lot of fans didn't like that. I didn't hate that aspect of it.
Well, because they pushed Zarathos real hard in the beginning.
Did.
And I just I like that it was a separate entity from the Ghost Rider that was Johnny Blaze. And like I said earlier, they had clearly distinct personalities between the two. So I didn't mind that aspect of it too much. I just didn't like, oh, well, we have to find a way to tie him to Johnny Blaze. Like, well, no, because they've then since introduced all these other Ghost Riders that are not tied to the Danny and Johnny's family. So why did they have to be tied together like that?
Right. Hey, to be show this from Vaughn. There you go. Thank you.
S. Vaughn 82 says, unpopular opinion. I was kind of happy with the hood having the spirit of vengeance and wish it would have lasted longer this year. Oh, that's interesting.
Yep. All right. So, Uncle Gary, what don't you like about him?
Kind of what Dan has mentioned, where the two characters have been, configured into one, and you've taken some of the cool things that really made Danny Ketch unique and given them to Johnny Blaze too. So, it is tougher to differentiate the two characters. And then I hate I didn't get the series, but I kind of will say, okay, the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider car, kind of a cool image and all that, but it didn't intrigue me enough to buy the book with him. But I did read the Avengers issues he was in. But what I think is ridiculous is the Ghost Rider riding the Mammoth, and then the Cosmic Ghost Rider. That's just too much Ghost Rider. I don't need the Ghost Rider on the Mammoth. I don't need the Ghost Rider on the the Cosmic Ghost Rider. And I guess the other thing that I
don't forget the Guardians of the Galaxy one from the 90s that was an alien.
That's right. There was another Ghost Rider. And I guess the thing that I'm kind of sad about is that that the Phantom Rider, the Phantom Rider got turned into was a bad guy. But the original
bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, rapist bad guy. The the original Ghost.
The answer to that question, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, it was from the last Ghost Rider series. I think it just ended recently, where they did it with the Hood.
There you go.
Yeah, where the Hood had it. It was in the most recent one. Now I lost my train. Oh yeah, I think it's a shame that the original Ghost Rider, who was created on the in the ME Enterprises magazines, that he has kind of fallen to the wayside, because that was a really cool character, and that
didn't they
Marvel
turn
got the
him
right
into the Caretaker? Isn't that what they did with him? Like, kind of led him into that?
I'm not sure in the comics if that's the way it goes. I'm not sure. Maybe it is. I just know that I like the Western hero, the Western Ghost Rider character, and that Marvel did, when Marvel got the rights to him, they had, it was, I would write a cherry and pull that off.
That's a good one,
there
Richard.
you go.
The Caretaker was also a character that was so indicative of the 90s. Like, here's a guy with kind of a cool name, and he's mysterious, and he's just going to show up, and he's going to, and he's going to speak the way he talks. He's going to act like he knows everything that's happening and everything that's going to happen, and he's going to drop all these little teases, but we're never actually going to pay off anything that he says or does,
right?
Because the 90s are mysterious.
And I think the Caretaker was more of somebody that was actually like a Ghost Rider, and not like the original was just a was just a Western character that just like a Phantom to scare people. So and I like that character a lot, and I'm sorry that he's just fallen by the wayside. And again, I think Knight Rider. I think they turned him into the Knight Rider, I guess.
It was a Knight Rider and then Phantom Rider.
And the Phantom Rider, So, but it was a cool name. It was a cool name, and it was a really cool jump. When Marvel got the rights, and I have the 9-issue series that Marvel has. When they got the rights to the Western hero, and it's pretty cool. The covers are really, really great. Can you draw? Oh, Dan, there you go. Sounds like a really good drawing. But I'm sorry we've lost that. But to use that name and put him on a motorcycle is fantastic. That cover to Marvel Spotlight 5 is just phenomenal. Phenomenal. So I love that book. I love having that book. So, but yeah, just kind of the, just like Dan said, the melding of Johnny and Danny into two characters that's hard to tell apart is probably the big one. Yeah.
I agree. All right, Tim, how about you?
So my biggest critique is when they turned him into a bad guy. If you don't remember that run, it was when they were bringing Johnny Blaze back in as Ghost Rider. This was like mid 2000s, when Marvel was going through all that structural rechange. It was pre-Planet World War Hulk, post Civil War. And it was like a 12-issue run or a 13-issue run, something like that. But the whole point of it was Johnny Blaze was coming back as the Ghost Rider, and Danny Ketch, they had turned him into a villain. That really disappointed me, because that stripped away everything that he was to me in the 90s, which was this protector of innocence, this spirit of vengeance, this just vicious force that walked that gray line, crossed it from time to time, but like Gary said, he had this holy mission that nothing could stop him on. And when they changed that whole aspect, turned him blue and all that stuff, I was just really, really disappointed with that. I think that was a poor editorial choice.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But there's one Ghost Rider that we can't get enough of yet.
What's that?
Uncle Gary knows. The Ghost Rider of World War II.
Oh,
that's Ghost Rider 44, baby.
Ghost Rider 44.
He needs
right.
his own episode.
If you haven't read the Incredible Hulk series right now, there was a tease of another Ghost Rider, and Philip Kennedy Johnson said himself that he's going to call him Ghost Rider 44. Is that correct?
That's what Philip is referring to him as. I don't know if that's what editorial will do.
Yeah, they haven't. It's not official yet, but that was awesome.
I'm hoping.
And it was one of the teas. He was in like 3 issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in 3 issues. That's right.
Yeah, it was a major part of it. Hey, Survive Infinity. Good to see you, man.
Listen, Ghost Rider 44 shoots a bazooka with Hellfire. That is awesome. That is awesome.
Does not get better
you gotta
than that.
smoke. That'd be a shame.
Yeah.
It's a shame
It's like
you
the
don't.
early issues of Incredible Hulk. I want to say around 5, 6, 7.
Yeah. And he's got a connection to that kid, which is interesting too. So Philip has a backstory for him. Ooh. And he's when I asked him about it, he just smiles and said, "Yeah, that's Ghost Rider 44." So that's what he refers to him. Carter Slade. That was the cowboy Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
Carter Slade.
And it would be cool whenever they do the Ghost Rider 44 if we get to see him in World War II and look, there he is with the there he is.
Invaders,
Howling Commandos. Oh, there he is running into the Invader. Hey, Marvel's got a character from World War II called the Flaming Skull, who has a flaming skull.
There you go.
I would love to see Philip Kennedy Johnson do much more with Ghost Rider 44. If you talk to him again, I want that very bad.
Just don't make him Johnny and Danny's grandfather or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see him soon because he's got he's taken over the writing on Batman and Robin.
Nice.
And I think he'll have a signing with us at some point. We haven't announced. We haven't narrowed down when it is yet, but it's on his schedule. But yeah, I'm definitely on him. And I've mentioned to him I want to do an interview with him on this channel. So it's just about getting his time. And Ghost Rider 44 will be a topic of quite a few questions. Yep,
right.
Bougie, I know.
Yep, very true. Very true. All right, so before we jump to the next segment, we're going to do a little timeout here and promote a fundraiser that's going on right now. The Codex Station was just brought into with some guys off of Instagram, and I think Bronze Age Nerd is the YouTuber that is starting this campaign, and it's actually called Heroes for Heroes. So I got the website up here. I'll give you a little bit of a thing. Tim, will you throw the
Yep,
the link
I got
in the chat?
in
there you
chat
go.
right
Thank
now.
you. And you can bring up some of the graphics for me there.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate that. Heroes for Heroes. It's an annual fundraising auction event in the comic book community to raise funds for Mission 22. Many veterans have created, worked on, and loved comic books over the last century, so many of the members of our community either have served or are serving, and this is a way to give back to our veterans. To date, they've raised about $8,900 for Mission 22. They're looking like either for people to donate, or you can actually donate items that they can then sell off to do this. Please go check it out. This looks like a great fundraising event. I've already backed it. I've already sent in some stuff, donated some money. I'm going to pick out maybe a slab or two that I can send to them to actually go ahead and auction off or sell off. I'm not sure if they're going to auction or sell. I don't know what their game plan is just yet, but all the proceeds will be going to this Heroes for Heroes to support Mission 22. I suggest you head on over there and check it out. Bronze Age Nerd on YouTube. Go check it out. He's the I guess the guy heading up the whole thing. There's some guys in our chat that are in that were in that Instagram chat. So if I was wrong in any of this saying, or if you need to add some more to this, hit it up here in the chat so we can all check that out.
Well, if there's one thing we here at Codex support, it's our veterans. So, ladies and gentlemen, go check this out. 100%.
Absolutely. All right. Very
worthy
good.
Very worthy.
All right, so let's go ahead then and move on to top covers.
Ooh,
and Gary, since you haven't gone first yet, why don't you go ahead and give us your top covers?
All right, let's see what I picked. All right, on the very left there, that is from the Volume 2 of Ghost Rider, and that cover is by that's number 34. That's by one of Dan's favorite artists. That's Brett Blevins.
Yeah.
So. And I'm a sucker for a cover in a cemetery. So
there you are.
So if you're in a cemetery, I'm interested. The one in the middle is from that same run of Ghost Rider. number 50, 51 of Volume 2, and that's thank you. It's
Oh,
a
thank you.
Salvador. It's thank you, Bougie. It's a Salvador Larraca Ghost Rider, and I
Yep.
love how the end of the chain is going through the logo.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love how it's bursting through the logo. So I always love it when they get interactive like that. So I love that cover, and it's great. Great image of him on the bike, and then the one on the right is just vicious. That's from the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider number 3, and it's the cover. It's the B cover by Sergio Davila, and that I just think is awesome. It's got the chains and got the the flaming skull all close up. Love it.
That's awesome. I love that. All right, Dan. Let's see yours next.
Let's find Dan's. Here we go.
All right, so they're all from the Volume 3 series. The one on the end is issue 1. I think I've always thought that was just such a Gary had some cool covers.
Yep. Dig them boneyards.
I see what you said there. Do you dig them, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, and you're right. He is fantastic visually. So
100%.
Yep.
Yeah. All the way in the end, the first issue, I just think it's you would see that on the shelf and you're like, man, that's awesome. And I like how the little box with Spider-Man's head, that they actually have it tilted and laying on its side because they didn't want to get in the way of any of the artwork.
Yeah.
If they had it sit the way that it normally does, it would have been cutting into the motorcycle and his leg.
Yeah.
An iconic cover.
Oh yeah.
Very true, Chris.
Yeah.
And the one all the way on the right, that's Ghost Rider 15, the glow in the dark cover. When this cover came out, it was the talk of the comic shops. It was such an awesome cover. It was the first ever glow in the dark comic cover. And when you would get it and turn the lights off and it glowed, it looked badass.
Oh yeah.
And even the second print looked cool too with the gold background.
No.
Yep. Absolutely.
And then the middle one, Ghost Rider 25.
That's
I like how you have the flaming Ghost Rider skull real big in the back, and you got like that red glow in his eye, but then you see Danny Ketch his head screaming, and then you just see the skin melting off of his face as he transforms from Danny into the Ghost Rider. It's very much like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look away. Don't look. Close your eyes.
I actually got that Ghost Rider 15 slabbed.
That's
really
great.
come back good, but it's going to look great.
That Ghost Rider 15 was a reason that some nerds could actually get a gal to let them turn the lights off.
Whatever works, man. Whatever works.
Whatever works.
You got to turn the lights off, babe.
All right.
Come on, babe. I want to show you something. We got to turn the lights off.
Turn the lights off. All right, let's go ahead and check out my covers next.
All right. There you go, Sam.
Yeah.
All right, look at that. I got something similar with Gary on that. Number 51. The cover art by Salvador Larraca. Awesome. And like you said, with the chain coming through the motorcycle, I mean the logo there, and with the motorcycle, it's just amazing. I'm one of those closet bikers. I want to have my own bike one of these days. So I'm just a sucker for bikes. Gary's a sucker for graveyards. I'm a sucker for bikes. Okay.
There you go.
And that's why I chose that middle one, number 5 there. Jim Lee art on that one.
Yep.
Oh, that's amazing. And he's practically running over Punisher on that one. That's just great. I would say if he wasn't screaming, he would look like he was laughing at him as he's running over. And then that last one on the far right there, that's number 45, I believe. Cover artist was Ron Garney.
Oh,
and
so good.
Again, the three-dimensional effect with the let me show you this cool cover, baby. It almost like a 3D effect with the way the chain is wrapping behind him and then coming at you as well, and the fierce look on his face with the skull on fire. That's just terrifying. And then if you notice in the top background there, it looks like it's blood coming from the wall.
Yep.
The
Yeah,
walls
that-
in the 53rd precinct were bleeding.
That-
To explain that, and
That-
so that's what I love. All right,
That
let's see yours,
chain-
Tim's. Yeah, what's up?
that chain was such a cool addition to the Ghost Rider character.
yes,
Yeah, it was. I love it.
100%. All
Well,
right.
I
right,
mean,
Tim,
I like
let's
the
see yours.
design of this one too. Like they really went with make him look like a biker. What does a
Yeah.
biker
Yep.
have? Chain, a leather
Yeah.
jacket, some jeans, some motorcycle boots.
Hey,
And-
Yeah,
That motorcycle just looks out of this world too.
it
yeah.
does.
Looks otherworldly. But yeah, here's my covers. So we'll go ahead and go right in
Peach.
the center. Oh, dude. That was my cover of the year last year, I think, or one of
Yeah.
my top contenders. But the one in the center, Ghost Rider #1, Dan showed that already. This is just a gorgeous cover. It showcases exactly what you can anticipate going into this series, and I love every bit of that. That is iconic 90s Ghost Rider.
Mhm.
The one on the left, Gary, you called that. That's Peach Momoko. That's the #2
Yep.
B variant, I believe.
Yep.
This thing looks gorgeous. I want this slabbed in a 9/8 so I can put it on the back wall behind me, so you guys can enjoy it as much as I do. This cover just it's a tattoo. I love it. It's
Mhm.
fantastic. And then that one on the end, that is Ghost Rider number 16. I
Yeah,
believe.
sorry,
No,
that's
number
blurry.
18.
Why is that blurry? That's,
Ah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
all right.
I must have grabbed a bad
The
image of
It's
it.
it's the flame. The flame is
There
It's the
you go.
flame. There you go. It's the flame.
The best part of it is what you can see, and it looks fantastic. And the cover artist for that is Nelson DeCastro. And it
Nice.
is just a gorgeous painted cover. One of my favorites of the run.
Yeah,
Love it.
Nelson was pretty big at that time and
Yeah.
with doing painted stuff. And
Oh, bougie. Man, this is one of my favorite
Thanks.
parts
Yeah.
of comic character of the week is checking out
Yeah,
the covers.
And I
You
like
know,
that
Tim,
one too, that in the little UPC box, there's the other Ghost Rider skull.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Texera
You-
skull, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Bougie making that comment on covers. I think it would be cool if we did a Halloween show where we each picked like our 10 favorite horror covers.
Oh, I'm down.
Oh, we got to do that.
Yeah,
That's a must. We gotta
Comic
do
character of the week, horror.
yeah. Just
Oh,
pick our,
God.
yeah, just do our 10 favorite horror covers or 15 or whatever. Just I think that would be so freaking cool.
Sal, let's
Yep.
make it happen.
that. Okay, let's do it. It's on. It is on.
Wow.
They
They're out of print. I think I have a couple lying around here. I think I gave my last copy of the second book to Tim. Which one?
one of the books that Chris wrote.
Foil
Oh.
facsimile.
Um,
Hell yeah, Renegade. Take
The-
my money too.
yeah, the books, Tim, you'll get them when you come here.
Yeah,
I've got
that's
you-
right.
I've
Okay.
got you both books autographed by Chris for you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
On
Oh,
wonderful.
Comic Logic has them in stock. Yeah. Oh, Booge is down. Wants to do that idea. Halloween
All right, so
covers.
do we just can we say that we have to limit Gary to one Swamp Thing cover?
Oh, he's
Yeah.
got tons of
Nice
horror.
one.
He's got tons of horror to choose from. He just
Oh, I got
That's-
plenty to choose from. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
you know,
Swamp-
Halloween the 31st is on a Thursday.
right. But I don't think we have a show scheduled because it's Halloween.
Yeah, I don't think we're doing that. I think we got family commitments. We'd have
Yeah,
to have a
got
special
kids.
show. Maybe
We'll do a
maybe
special
the week
presentation
before
on the
or something.
Friday, probably.
There you
We'll
go.
do a special
Yeah.
presentation
Yeah.
on the Friday.
The next segment is
can do
also
Friday.
my favorite.
Yes, the next segment is essential
Yeah.
readings. And
Oh yeah.
Tim, since you love this so much, you go
Yes,
first.
Tim,
Oh.
go.
Dudes. Yeah, so I think that we're all gonna have a lot of the same stuff here.
Oh yeah.
But so we'll start at the bottom and then I'll get to my favorite. Ghost Rider Volume 2, the whole Danny Ketch run, especially the first 50 issues. Just get into it, just read it. You can find a lot of these covers, a lot of these issues in the dollar bins, or only spend $2 to $3 for most of them. I think you'll pay
The early ones and the late ones that are the pricey ones.
yeah, you'll pay more for those, but these are all in trade too, so you can get it that way. But get your hands on these. This is the epitome of 90s. And this is the standout character. Like when Darkhawk, all hail Darkhawk.
Oh, yeah, Darkhawk.
There you go. And Guardians of the Galaxy and all that stuff were all coming out, revitalizing characters, new characters. Danny Ketch Ghost Rider was the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop, ladies and gentlemen. And you need to check it out. Rise of the Midnight Suns is a major storyline in the middle of that, and it encompasses a lot of new titles that came out too. So you had Ghost Rider, then you had Ghost Rider and Johnny Blaze Spirits of Vengeance, which was awesome, by the way. You had the reintroduction of Morbius, the new look for the 90s for him. You had Darkhold Redeemers.
Oh yeah, Jamie's favorite character, Morbius.
Right, yeah. It's Morbin time. Gotta read Heart's Darkness. Hell yeah, Chris. And you had Night Stalkers, which brought Blade back into the fold.
Yeah.
The whole storyline revolves around Lilith making her return, and characters from the earlier issues of Ghost Rider, like Blackheart. Was it Blackheart? No, it wasn't Blackheart. It was shoot, I can't remember his name. I know one of you guys will tell me. But he was big in the first couple of issues of the series, and he is a pawn of Lilith's. And this is like Ghost Rider being brought down to his knees. All these other characters coming in, the Darkhold being a big part of it. It's just a wonderful, wonderful horror story in 90s Marvel. And you guys need to check it out. And then what I think is one of the
Meat Market, was that who it was?
No, well, he was one of them, but it was the vampire dude. Blackout.
Blackout.
That was his name.
Oh yeah, because he first appeared in no, he wasn't in issue 1. That was Death Watch. Death Watch.
But Death Watch was a part of this too.
Yeah.
Right. Lilith had brought him back as a undead beast, and it was awesome. It was great. Yeah, so check it out. But blessed be the Darkhawk, all hail his name. 100%. Wes already has a 9. He's buying his island now, ladies and gentlemen. So yes,
his island
omnibus. But Hearts of Darkness, this story is one of my top 5 favorite stories of all time, and I read this in the fall. I made the special occasion to reread it today for this episode. This story is amazing. I went into it a little bit before, but basically Blackheart is the son of Mephisto. He is jaded and hates his dad and wants to overthrow his dad. And
I hate your dad. You just don't understand.
That's exactly what it is. He's like, Dad doesn't get me. I'll get him by killing him.
I wish I did. I wish you would die.
With the 3 greatest borderline anti-heroes that Marvel has. So what Blackheart does is he calls in Wolverine, right? He tells him that he'll give him all the information on who he is, what his past was, how he got the adamantium. Wolverine knows that's a ruse. He knows it's a trap. Blackheart calls in Frank Castle and tells him, I'll tell you, who killed your family. I'll help you find him. And he also knows that's bullshit because he put all of them in the ground.
He already knows who did
it's a trap.
Yeah. And then he reaches out to Danny Ketch and tells him, I will tell you the secrets that you don't know the answers to. It's in the soul crystal. My father has it. Come to this town, Christ's crown, and I will give you guys all this information. They all know it's bullshit. And Blackheart appears before each of them, tries to convince them. They all say no, as they should. There we go. And Blackheart gets butthurt and takes over the whole town. And takes Lucy with him, this little girl that all 3 of these guys have befriended, right? And he's threatening to kill her, kill the whole town. And my favorite scene is when Danny Ketch is trying to figure out how to change into Ghost Rider. He can't do it without the bike. Finds this bike in a shop, breaks a window, figures out that the change comes within him. Ghost Rider comes out, and all hell breaks loose, literally. And it is just such an amazing story. Howard Mackey does the writing. John Romita Jr. does the artwork. and it is gorgeous. You will not be disappointed reading this. Do not read the second one that came out, the sequel to Hearts of Darkness, because that is total shit. Just focus on Hearts of Darkness and ignore the other one.
We should have a segment that says stories to skip.
No, Howard Mackey wrote the second one, and I was incredibly disappointed in it. We did a review of it on an episode of the podcast. I can't remember which one, but yeah, disregard that. Hearts of Darkness.
Blackheart.
Yeah. The Darkhold, introduced in Marvel Spotlight, Werewolf by Night. I'm reading that now. Hell,
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, old butthurt Blackheart. Say that 3 times fast. That 3 times fast. There you go.
And yeah, Bougie, technically the Cosmic Ghost Rider is the Punisher.
Yeah.
He in no way acts like the Punisher because he's driven completely insane and cuckoo, and is kind of it's an interesting concept that's just a little too goofy for me. But yeah, that's who, it would be cool to see the Punisher as a real Ghost Rider. And one thing cool, I'll show it after we're done with these graphics, is the little graphic that was in the Hearts of Darkness with the Punisher skull with that they included put the Wolverine and the Ghost Rider flame on.
Yeah.
All right, very good. All right, Gary, you're up next for stories. It's like the Beetlejuice and Blackheart Peters.
All right. So going with the introduction of Danny Ketch was in Ghost Rider Volume 2, 1 through 7. I've got a copy of the original trade, Resurrection. Got Howard Mackey's signature on it, so that's a cool trade to have. But 1 through 7, kind of sets the tone for the rest of it. So I didn't give everybody as big a reading assignment as Tim did. 1 through 50. 1 through 7 will start you out, and then you continue on with your reading assignment if you so choose.
One of my favorite issues is in that run. It's issue number 7, where he goes against the Scarecrow. It's called Obsession.
Yes. Yep. Chris, you're right there. Hearts of Darkness, I think Tim summed that up just perfectly, and what a great read that was. So, absolutely. And then the last one was a mini-series from just the past year or so, Danny Ketch Ghost Rider, that I really enjoyed. I think part of it was just the fact to see Danny Ketch back as Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
So, the nostalgia of getting to see him put back as Ghost Rider. And, I like when he and Blaze interact. I do. I think them being related or half brothers, I think it's more interesting that they're brothers by choice than brothers by blood.
I love that when Blaze was just human, he had the shotgun that shot Hellfire.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yes,
I love that.
Yeah. So those are my 3. So please enjoy them and partake.
Awesome. All right, Dan, you're next.
I mean, it's already pretty much been covered. Hearts of Darkness.
I know.
Sorry, guys.
Rise of the Midnight Suns. There's not much more for me to add to what Tim said. I'll say now I'm unclear on it. Like I put Volume 3 because I guess technically it's Volume 3 because Volume 1 would be the Old West.
Right.
Would be the Old West Ghost Rider. Volume 2 would be the Johnny Blaze one, which would make this Volume 3. But I've looked it up online. I've seen the Danny Ketch run listed as Volume 3, and I've seen it listed as Volume 2. So I guess it just depends on how the original Western Ghost Rider series fits into it. But either way, with that said, some of the stuff, 2 or 3, it's the Danny Ketch run. I just put 1 through 6 because the first few issues you get his origin and set up who the whole cast of characters is, and then there's issue 4, and then 5 and 6 is the thing with the Punisher, which was awesome. So not like Tim where I'm like, hey, here, read 80 issues.
That reminds me, we did Animal Man for the comic character of the week, and Archduke's suggestion was everything.
I can't help it though. Like the whole series, you guys would love.
Well, it gets confusing if you're going to count the Cowboy Ghost Rider in there because, Marvel had a run of that, and so did the Ghost Rider character had his own book in the 50s too. So there's almost 2 volumes of the Cowboy of the Carter Slade Ghost Rider.
Yes, Chris. Yes.
Well, generally, at least for something that's for different companies, it doesn't count. It doesn't count the the different companies, because then you run into it with how are you going to count something like Conan or the Shadow,
Tarzan.
Like Tarzan. Tarzan was weird because was it when DC picked it up, they just kept the numbering going from what it was before.
Yeah, they did. Yes, they did.
That's the same with G.I. Joe too.
Yeah, DC. That was the third. They were the third publisher of Tarzan at that point, and when it went from the first one to the second one, it kept the numbering too.
Yeah. Bougie Hearts of Darkness. Yeah, you need to read that again.
Yeah.
Generally, I've said it before, I do not like Ramita's artwork, but it's pretty good on this.
Oh yeah,
that's true. Very true. All right, let's go ahead and pull up my recommended readings, and look at that, Hearts of Darkness is also on there.
Sal, are you the first one to recommend Hearts of Darkness?
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, read this.
Give us a synopsis, Sal.
Oh, I can't. It's so great that I can't even put the words.
We'll just rewind about 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, and you'll hear it.
Exactly. What everybody has said about Hearts of Darkness, one of my badass moments was in it. You got to read it. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
You say gonorrhea?
Gotta read it. Gotta read it. Gotta read it. Gotta read it. Not diarrhea. Got to read
gonorrhea.
it. Yeah. Not that either.
Wow.
But you have all the socials.
What's that? We have all the socials. We do have all the socials. And Gary, you just love to give it to him.
Yes, I did.
Holy crap. Yeah. So I have on there, Danny Ketch Ghost Rider 1 through 4, and I have Ghost Rider Danny Ketch. Also, that's the bottom one is the 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
That Danny Ketch one is from 2023. You guys have all hit these on the head, pretty much. I like these because I like the Ghost Rider Danny Ketch one from 2008, 2009 a little bit more. Because it also has the caretaker and a reluctant Johnny Blaze as an ally, so the story kind of worked for me. So
yeah, good stuff.
There we go. All right. So now we can go on
to red light sound.
What I was talking about with the
that's pretty cool.
That would make a pretty cool T-shirt.
Yep,
that would. Or a sketch cover.
Oh.
I think it would make a great sketch cover. Yeah. Do with the whole flames action. Everything. All right, go ahead. So let's go on to our next segment, guys. And that is best writer and artist. And I'm going to go first on this one this time. And I actually have for artist as Ron Garney. And I went for a writer as Howard Mackey. All right, that's who I went with. Tim, why don't you go next?
So I have my tops, but I have to give very well. They're not bottoms; they're tops too. But guys, you did it again. I'm going to have to buy some more comics. I never read Ghost Rider, but you guys convinced me. Hearts of Darkness, dude.
Evidently, Hearts of Darkness is the one to get. Yeah,
start
I'm going to go live. Say Hearts of Darkness,
and then read regular Ghost Rider. But for writer, So Gary, Philip Kennedy Johnson is on my short list of people to write Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider 44, yes, but I would love to see him do Danny Ketch, just based off of reading Incredible Hulk. I think he could do a wonderful job, but he's not my tops. Peter David is also on that list. I think with reading what I read for yesterday's podcast, Sal, he's so gentle to his bottoms. You gotta cup them, ladies and gentlemen.
You have to caress them, right?
You gotta get that baby powder and baby oil. You gotta love them. Yeah, you sit on them. Anyways, Peter David, what we read yesterday for the podcast, dude. His work. I love Peter David's work, anyways. But I think that he could do a beautiful one-shot or mini-series. But my main writer, Gary, and I think you'll agree with me on this, is Dan Waters, who wrote Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Okay, I dig it.
That's my main writer for Ghost Rider.
That's a good choice.
That is an interesting choice for that. I can see that.
I think he would do great. Let Howard Mackey's legacy live on in miniseries and one shots, but give it to Dan and let him go to town. For artwork, Joe Quesada's on that list. I think that his style would fit perfect with Ghost Rider. Greg Capullo is also on there. I think he would do a wonderful job. But I think I'm going to have to go with Peter David does no wrong. He does not. But I think I'm going to have to go with the simplistic style of Tim Sale for this.
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
So Dan Waters and Tim Sale teaming up. I know Tim Sale can't anymore, but let's travel back in time, ladies and gentlemen. Get Tim Sale right after the Long Halloween and have him go do Ghost Rider. That would be a wonderful story to read.
I like it.
Yeah. Can't hear you, Sal. Ghost Rider's got your voice taken away.
I was blowing my nose. I didn't want to put that on there. So, Gary, why don't you go ahead next?
All right. Well, for writer, I also think Philip Kennedy Johnson would be really interesting considering what he's doing in the Hulk book right now.
Yeah.
And of course, if it's Ghost Rider 44, that's the only guy I want doing it. But I have to give deference to the guy that signed my book here. So that's Howard. So there you go. So Howard Mackey, for what he created, with Danny Ketch, how he said it, the penance stare, Danny, just being a normal guy that was in the wrong place at the wrong time and, became the Ghost Rider. I just think it's a really cool concept and want to give love to him. For artists, a guy that I think would be really interesting. There you go, Richard.
I can't.
Ouch.
I can't.
Ouch. You're gonna make Tim vomit. Don't do that.
So, and I'm tying this back in, another writer that would be really interesting would be John Ostrander, because again, I've made a parallel between the Spectre and the Ghost Rider, with the Vengeance stuff, and the way Ostrander wrote the Spectre. I think he could write. I think he could write.
Absolutely.
Write Danny Ketch really well, and also his artist on there. I think Tom Mandrake would be a really cool artist for him. But I'm going to give it to. I really enjoyed the art that this guy did, and Mark Teixeira. I really liked his Ghost Rider. A lot of great covers, and then I know he was inking the original Saltaires.
Javier.
He was inking him. Javier. He was inking him at the beginning, but then it got to the point where Teixeira was doing the pencils on it. So for me, I want to give a little love to Mark Teixeira.
Right on.
Very good.
He is the pinnacle Ghost Rider artist.
Absolutely.
Great head, no friggin' feet. It's Ghost Rider's feet. They're hidden on the bike.
They're hidden on the bike.
Ghost Rider now has flaming shoes.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Exactly.
That way he doesn't have to draw the feet.
God.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, you're next.
Well, for writer, I went with Howard Mackey. He created him. He's the one that I enjoyed reading most. If I was going to pick a writer to write him,
100%.
I think James Tinian would do a good job with it.
Ooh.
Or Joe Hill, I think, was another one that would do a good job because he writes a lot of horror, and it doesn't help or it doesn't hurt when your dad is Stephen King.
Right.
For artist, I also went with the one that created him, Javier Saltaires. I like the way that he draws him compared to some others, like the Salvador LaRocca cover you guys showed. I was like, that's awesome. And it is, but he draws him like he's a superhero, like he has big time muscles and like skin tight spandex. Yeah. I like the way that Saltaires drew him, where when you look at the cover of issue 1 and you look at the way he did it, like his style is a little gritty, and especially with Teixeira inking him, it's got that gritty kind of dark quality to it. And the way that they draw the character was he is imposing, but he's not muscle bound. He looks like a guy that's just wearing a leather jacket and blue jeans. They're not like skin tight. He's not over, bulging over with muscles.
No.
Look at my rippling muscles.
Well, because technically he doesn't have muscles. He's a goddamn skeleton.
Yeah.
So
look at my rippling bones.
And so I like the way that he drew him. But if I were to pick an artist to do a book to go along with one of my writers, I think it would be really awesome to see Lee Bermejo draw some Ghost Rider.
Oh yeah,
right on.
Yep.
It'd probably take him a year to do it, but it would look really great when it came out.
Yep.
You know what? I bet Kyle Hotz would do a pretty wicked Ghost Rider too.
Yeah, Ennis would be
Ennis
good
would
too.
be good. Oh yeah.
Yep.
He's a sick bastard.
I wouldn't mind seeing some more covers done by Alex Ross.
Yeah.
He did the timeless variants. Those were nice.
John Carpenter doing a low Hollywood budget 80s or 90s Ghost Rider. That'd be great.
Oh, it'd have a great
Practical
soundtrack too.
It
They
sure
gotta
would.
find- They just got to find a way to de-age Kurt Russell to play him.
There you go.
There we go. All right, folks. I think that wraps this one up. Does anybody have any final thoughts? Anybody in the
Like those
in our-
Bougie. Yeah.
Yep. Anybody in our audience would love to chime in now? Check out my bone muscle. Yep.
All
Say
right,
that
I
like
was
Arnold
going
does.
to hit you with a little trivia. So
Go ahead, do it.
I mentioned in my 3 badass moments that I like the one from the Fantastic Four cartoon where he shows up and gives the penance stare to Galactus. Who is the actor that did the voice of Ghost Rider in that?
John.
What year?
I don't know.
1993. I will
Okay,
tell you this is an actor that is more known for television than for movies.
And not as a voice actor.
Not as a voice actor. I mean, I'm sure he's done some voice acting stuff, but he's not known as a voice actor. He's known as a television actor.
And this was 93?
Yeah, that's when it was 93. The Fantastic Four series ran for like 93 to 94. It was 2 seasons. So it was, I don't know which season it was that it came out.
Was this very early in the man's career?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Jimmy
He
Hopper.
was very popular for a short amount of time.
Oh, well, I know who it is. It was Mr. T. He said, "I pity the fool to come eat my plant."
No
idea, Dad.
Nothing. I got nothing.
So you said Mr. T?
There you go.
Use that buzzer.
There you go.
Chris said Pee Wee Herman.
Oh my God.
Pee Wee Herman?
That is also wrong.
The answer is Richard Grieco.
Are you
Really?
kidding me?
I would never have guessed that in a million years.
Richard Grieco.
And then Richard Grieco also did the voice of Ghost Rider when he appeared on another animated Marvel series around that same time.
Spider-Man?
You want to take a guess what it was?
Was it Spider-Man?
Okay.
But-
Do you have a check ready to go if somebody actually gets one right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
yes.
All right.
No clue. I'm
nothing.
wrong.
I'm trying to think of the animated shows about the same time as that.
Is it Iron Man?
I'm gonna say Avengers.
You
supposed to say
okay?
the
You
buzzer.
had the Marvel Action Hour, which was Fantastic Four, which he's already been in, and Iron Man. Then there was Spider-Man, X-Men. There's Silver Surfer. I don't know, Dan. I have no
Go
clue.
Silver Surfer.
Yeah. Of course not.
You love
It
that
sounded
buzzer.
like Tim was getting ready to say it at the end there.
The Incredible Hulk?
Nice.
Well,
That
what
was
do you
not as
know?
satisfying as the wrong button.
No.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. The wrong button is incredibly satisfying.
All right.
Yes,
Wow.
so it was voiced by Richard Grieco in the Fantastic Four cartoon, who also voiced him on an episode of The Incredible Hulk, and they wanted to use him on an episode of Spider-Man, but since it was different networks, they were like, no.
Oh,
Which
wow.
version? Which version was it? The Danny Ketch version or the Johnny Blaze?
Yeah, it was a Danny Ketch.
Danny Ketch.
Wow.
So
Pretty awesome.
the original
Because
Ghost
93, that's that was like right in the prime of when Ghost Rider was, the Danny Ketch was at the height of his popularity.
Yep.
All right. So the original Ghost Rider, Carter Slade. So the name of this character. Do you know what comic he first appeared in?
Was it the?
It was by
Ghost Rider.
Emmy Enterprises. Emmy Enterprises published it.
Mm-mm.
I was gonna say
unless
Phantom
you've looked
Rider.
this up specifically, you wouldn't know this.
Yeah.
All right.
Tim Holt Comics.
Mm.
And Tim Holt was a Western cowboy comic. So Tim Holt Comics is where the first Ghost Rider appearance was. And that was
I love his chain of coffee shops across Canada.
Yeah, Tim Holt.
Oh wait, that's Tim Horton.
Tim Hortons.
Tim
Wow.
Hortons. Gotta get me some Tim Hortons.
All right.
All right, folks, we're gonna go ahead and then wrap this up, put it to bed, and do what we have to do to close out this show. I'm your host, Sal the Slab Guy. When I'm not here on the Codex Station, you can always find me on YouTube on the Sal's Comic Corner or Instagram as the Slab Guy 77. Dan, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you at?
Yep, check it
Right
out on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art, and then go
All right.
over and check him
This
out
guy.
all over the place.
Comic Logic,
Everywhere.
baby. Come see us at Comic Logic. We're Loudoun County, Virginia's only comic book store. So if you're in the Northern Virginia area, we would love to make your acquaintance and come see us in person. We would love to see you. We'll be at Baltimore in 3 weeks. You can see us there, or you can see us at our Fall Lot Con on Sunday, October 27th.
All right, Tim, why don't you take us home?
You got it, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, first off, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I am so glad that you stuck with us to the end. We do this for you, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. This is what we look forward to on a Thursday night, and who better to spend it with than our chat? Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are the best. Head over to some place that Gary wants to tell you all about what we want to give away.
Oh, what we have here at Codex Station, all the hosts you see, we have all the
Gonorrhea.
We've talked about that earlier, yes, sir. And we would like nothing better than to syphilis it to you. So
there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Your favorite penicillin, your favorite antibiotics. Make sure to hit the like, share, subscribe, and or follow so you don't miss out on your weekly checkups by Gary himself at the Codex Station, ladies and gentlemen. And also,
this there, Doc.
Is it supposed to drip?
River.
It is school season, ladies and gentlemen, and you need to look too cool for school. Head over to thecodexstation.com for all your Codex needs. Get some merch, meet the team, and so much more. Once again, thecodexstation.com, ladies and gentlemen. All right. My name is Tim the Terrible. This beautiful man over here is Sal the Slab Guy. Below him is Dan the Kelly Art, the road manager for the curator of the Library of Comics, the Ric Flair of comic books, Uncle Gary himself. This is Comic Character of the Week, Danny Ketch, Ghost Rider, and we will see you next time.